joining us.
My great pleasure.
I recently took my first ride in an autonomous vehicle. It was in San Francisco, and it was thrilling. I felt like I was on a very safe amusement park ride, but it sort of left me thinking, what is the problem that the autonomous vehicle is designed to solve? For me, it was just kind of fun. When I need to drive somewhere, I drive myself. But there are some real social purposes and social goals behind autonomous vehicles. From your point of view, why does the world need AVs?
Okay, so that question is quite straightforward. Like, think about why do we need washing machines? Or why do we need programmable switchers? Before the invention of program switchers, we have lots of job opportunities for human operator to plug two phone lines together. But now we can find this can done by computer or machines. Think about our civilization. It's just lots of things originally can be done by human being or can be done by the animals like horses, cattle, and gradually replaced by the machine power. AI is the same thing. Nobody wants to drive for 12 hours. Nobody wants to get stuck in the traffic. Mm-hmm. So what if machine do it for you and they will never have any mistakes? I think that's the dream of most of the people, and that's why I founded WeRide. That's why we work so hard for more than 8 years to make this thing a reality.
So that's the analogy, is that the productivity of the time for all of these people who would otherwise be driving is freed up for whatever they need, whether it's keeping up with their email or inventing the next AI innovation. And now you've been thinking about mobility. You've been involved in AI and computer engineering for a long time. WeRide's 8 years old, but you've been thinking about mobility for much longer. Is that correct?
Yes. I was majored in at that time image processing / computer vision in 1990s, and then in 2000 computer vision. I got a PhD in computer vision and then taught at the University of Missouri Columbia for more than 10 years. And then, all my career has been devoted to the development of so-called AI, because for a while, after 1950 or 60s, AI became a taboo, a very cold name. Mm-hmm. And people like to use computer vision and then artificial neural network and then probabilistic models, all kinds of related terms. And then after 2010, 2011, AI regained her popularity. But all my life has been devoted to R&D in this area.
In this AI, yeah. In the kinds of headline-grabbing innovations lately that we've seen with large language models, does that benefit the autonomous vehicle field as well? That same kind of acceleration make the cars operate better?
Yeah, for sure. Because people talk about this kind of large language model, but inherently it is based on, now we more like, the researchers more like call it foundational model. So basically it's very large neural network model. It can be used to model language, but it can use to model all the knowledge, representing all the knowledge. Therefore, we develop our autonomous driving system leveraged on the very rapid progress in large language model and the machine learning.
I see. And now, so we've expanded quite a bit. WeRide is now in, I believe, 30 cities in 11 countries. Is that correct?
Yes.
One of the countries it's coming to next is Saudi Arabia. In fact, right here to Riyadh. At this point, you have experience working with governments in many, many places. What kind of regulatory framework do you need for an autonomous vehicle company to thrive? What kind of cooperation or rule making?
I think we mainly need policies, and the most important thing is the determination and the openness to autonomous driving from the political leaders or officials. And of course, this is a new thing, and there's no perfect new thing. But now it's getting into a certain level of maturity that can be deployed in a large scale. I'm not saying we can supply a kind of transportation tool that is 100% safe, but we can provide something that may be 10 times safer than a human driver. Do you want to take it? If you want to take it, and then you have to generate certain regulatory framework. One thing I want to say a few good things about the Saudi government and also the UAE government. We expand to in the Middle East, to our big surprise. The political leaders, local government officials, they are very open, very determined, very take lots of responsibility to put all of this autonomous driving into reality. And I think WeRide team up with Uber will soon provide autonomous driving robotaxi in Riyadh, and we will soon supply full driverless robotaxi in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Today, if you go to Abu Dhabi, you can already hail a Uber through autonomous driving vehicle, but with a safety driver. But maybe next month, once we get the final approval, we will have full driverless operation, just like what you have experienced in San Francisco.
So truly driverless, no, not even the sort of comfort level of the person in the passenger seat who could be there if something goes wrong.
Yes.
Is there an infrastructure element to this? I mean, I think of the fact that Riyadh and other cities in the kingdom have a lot of new construction, up-to-date, top-of-the-line broadband. But you also operate in cities like Barcelona, where the infrastructure is, many centuries old. Are there, when the infrastructure is older, are there different kinds of challenges?
Yeah, definitely. If the infrastructure is old, it will cost extra challenges. But here I want to make up a point is like recently, I would say breathtaking progress of large language model and neural network. Previously, we probably need to rely a lot on the infrastructure, but now with the development of the AI technology, we start to depend less and less on the infrastructure. But still, a good road, very good wireless connection is necessary. I'm very glad to see that Riyadh, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, they all have very good infrastructure, and so I'm quite excited to fastly deploy autonomous driving vehicle in these cities in a very large scale.
What are the, so infrastructure is no longer a barrier to expansion, and I was actually surprised to hear that it's relatively inexpensive. The per unit cost of a driverless car is, if you had asked me before our conversation how much it would be, I would have guessed a much higher number. But can you tell me the number you?
Yeah, I think currently the cost for us to build an autonomous driving vehicle is a little bit above like $40,000 US.
40,000 US.
Yeah, think about $40,000 US. You can, I got a Tesla Model X. It's much more expensive than, in US, much more expensive than 40,000. So, leverage on the very strong supply chain of electric vehicles in China, right? You can get a lot of things in a very cost-effective price. And so that's the price. And the point I want to make is for technology or product who just come and can give us very good experience, we should strive for better experience for safety record, not for the low price. I got enough with this kind of lowered price and flooding to the market. That's not good to anybody, but don't always try to win a competition by lowering your price. I don't think that's a wise movement.
I think Elon Musk recently said, if just one of these things gets in a crash, we'll have national headlines for months.
Yeah.
I mean, there's sort of the cultural issue. Statistically, autonomous vehicles' safety record has been very, very strong. But because they're still a novelty, it seems that if something does go wrong, the attention it attracts is outsized. If I crash my car into a fire hydrant, nobody cares except me. If it happens to an autonomous vehicle, it's news.
That always happened to the invention, to the new stuff, right? If you just dig into the old papers, right? Yeah. Like when an airplane just invented by Wright brothers, a crash of airplane will make to the headline anytime, even nobody got injured.
Yes.
So it's just like that. It's our human civilization history. But great things like as entrepreneurs, as inventors, we should be really fearless enough. We should be brave enough to push forward for the new innovation, because we live in the AI era. Think about our offsprings, our kids. If we can make this a reality, they will appreciate us.
Is there also an environmental case to be made for autonomous vehicles? Is part of the case that eventually you just don't need as many vehicles and there's a leveling off of energy?
Yeah, I think it all depends. It's actually, you need to have to collaborate with the municipal governments, because actually there's one point I want to make, like how many cars can a city hold? It not depends on the population. It depends on the road networks. Okay, if you build 10 times more cars, they just park in the parking lot, consume the resource. So if we have an efficient way to operate so that everybody can hail a car when they need it, that is the number of vehicles you need. And actually, that's very friendly to our environment, very efficient.
Is there, that makes me realize WeRide's products right now are all essentially for hire. There's robo-buses, there's robo-taxis, but there isn't, say, a robo-minivan that I would buy and put in my own driveway. Is that part of the business model that you essentially, that you wouldn't be intending to produce these things for individual ownership?
Oh, we won't. We have already produced something that's very similar to FSD. And WeRide produce an advanced ADAS system. Actually, currently, team up with Bosch, a European company, the number one tier one supplier in the automobile industry. We team up with Bosch, has already supplied ADAS system to Chery. And also WeRide supply ADAS system to GAC, and also we are in talk with several car OEMs. I think people will need it. If you have experience to drive FSD these days, it's just like using smartphones. Your old Nokia phone is good enough, durable enough, but once you switch to your smartphone, you'll never got back. Once you switch to FSD, and you can enjoy the trip, many of my friends using Tesla, and they will never switch back.
Given that that's possible, given that that adoption rate is as high as it is, how widely does WeRide need to be adopted? How widely do AVs need to be adopted before the autonomous vehicle businesses are profitable? I mean, WeRide, I know you're approaching it, but you're far from it. How big does the market penetration need to be before it's actually a profit-making business?
It's a very good question. It depends on the market. If you want to deploy your robotaxi in a market where fair, I have a rule. Okay, I have a rule of thumb. So in any market, if the cost of taxi or car hailing service is like more than $1 per kilometer, that is a very good market. Today, with the price of WeRide, with the cost of WeRide, we can already make the whole thing profitable. Anything between 50 cents US dollar, I'm always talking about, anything between 50 cents to $1, that one you have to optimize a lot of things in order to make the whole business profitable. Anything below 50,000, it's very, 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 very challenging.
I see. But the cost of everything behind that, the construction of the vehicle and the AI stack itself, those are all steadily lowering.
Yes.
That's a big deal. Where do you think the industry will be 5 years from now, 2030? What is your vision 2030?
2030, I think all the major cities, if they are open to autonomous driving, you will see like what you have seen in San Francisco today. For all major cities will be like that. And besides, I'm more excited talk about within a 10 years frame. I think we can build an autonomous driving vehicle is in L5, L5 level, which is autonomous driving vehicle will drive as good as human driver. I think that is just like the ChatGPT moment. These days, ChatGPT already can achieve a certain capability in a law set, in a mathematical competition. It's already comparable to the top human player.
Yes.
I think L5 within 10 years, you will see the driving capability is on par with the best human drivers.
So L5 within 10 years.
Within 10 years.
Comparable with the best human drivers.
Yeah.
I love driving, but I really look forward to doing less of it.
Yeah.
Tony, thank you so much for joining us.
My great
Such a
pleasure.
pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you.